your favorite teams play on yourprimetimesports.com.
Good morning. Welcome to yourprimetimesports.com. We are back for another edition of Double G Sports Talk Saturday, live from Batten's Donuts in the Paragould Plaza. I am Dave Grimm, and alongside me, only for the moment, is Clifton Garmrath.
Good morning.
He's got all kinds of stuff going on today, and he's going to be jetting out of here.
I'm producing a movie.
You're producing a movie. Well, I mean, might as well talk about it since we got you here.
Well, the church that I have attended for 49 years is having their 100-year anniversary.
49 years?
The church I've attended.
You've been at the same church 49 years?
52.
So you've been there for half, almost, of the 100 years that they have been in existence.
Yeah, well, with the exception of a few years, like when I was gone to Springdale.
Okay.
But when I came home, I always considered that's where I went, if I was here on a Sunday.
Go ahead and say the church.
But anyway, Eastside Baptist Church.
Eastside Baptist Church.
100 years old, May the 20th. And we're putting a DVD together, interviewing a lot of the older members and some of the younger, newer members, and going to be doing some stuff tomorrow with some of the youth groups and stuff. And then a friend of mine and I are going to put all this together and try to make an hour to an hour and a half movie and make it fun, But boy, it's a job.
Eastside Baptist. Now, I think I know a few people that go there. Cody Noel, is that right? Is he? Not Cody Noel. No. I'm sorry. What's the guy's name? He was going to do some radio with us. And his last name is Noel.
Oh, Jason, that's the pastor.
Jason Noel. Oh, he's the pastor there. Okay.
Yeah, he's the...
Okay, and Ryan Vaughn goes there.
Him and his wife and family.
Well, now, okay.
Coach Conaway.
Coach
Bruce Hunt.
Have you interviewed any of those guys, the coaches, or Ryan Vaughn, or anybody
No,
for that?
Coach Conaway today, and I think Ryan Vaughn is today. There's a whole list today. It starts at 9 o'clock this morning, and it's every 15 minutes.
Well, what we'll have to do is, once you get the movie done, we will, hopefully, upload it to our YouTube channel that
that'd be cool.
we use for our audio on demand.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, if you haven't already, do yourself a favor, go to our audio on demand and listen to Tuesday night's Greene County Tech at Blytheville boys game. Instant classic. That one will live on for years and years on the buzzer beater from the paint, 6-foot jumper, game winner from Andrew Ferguson.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
That's the first buzzer beater I've had in a long time.
Well, they're just fun to call. I told somebody the next day, I said, David Grimm is at his best when the game is close.
Oh man, don't be telling me.
Well, no, I don't brag on you a lot because your head for some reason swells.
No, it does not.
But yes, it does. But anyway, I said that. I said, man, I'm telling you, I went back and listened to it, and I just enjoyed listening to it. And it may have been because I already had the visual in my head because
you were there, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a true painted picture of a great game, and I think the world of Coach Hickson, and I've just got to know him this year. And that was a tough loss for him. But anyway,
Well, they ended up winning their next game. So all they had to do was...
They needed to win out.
They needed to win out, and they needed Nettleton
to lose
one, which they did. They lost to Forest City on the final game. So basically, the Greene County Tech game did them in. I mean, that was it.
Well, I tell you, Tuesday night coming home from Blytheville, I text Coach McCord, and after you'd already informed me that Nettleton had lost, and Nettleton had beat Paragould at Paragould, and Blytheville had lost, and I texted him and I said, congratulations on your victory, and glad you're going to be at the state tournament, and I look forward to seeing you next week. He texted me back. He said, "Thanks, Cliff." He said, "And thank you, Greene County Tech." and then here's what he said at the end. And I'll see you at the Palace.
That's what he's calling it.
He calls it the Palace. He calls it the Palace.
Might as well. It needs some kind of a nickname, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's very new. So, well, I see our first guest walking in the door. We'll talk to him momentarily.
Look at his jersey.
Yeah, he's wearing a
hockey. Is that hockey?
That's hockey, but I don't know what team. That looks like a bear. We'll have to ask him about that.
Is this snowing outside? Oh, this is hockey?
Isn't that the state of Utah on the side, on the sleeve? The state of Utah. Salt Lake, that's the Salt Lake City something or others. I don't know. Yeah, well, it's the Grizzlies, but they're not. They must be a minor league hockey team. Anyway, we're getting off the track here.
Having fun this morning.
We got a bunch of guests lined up for you today. The first one just sat down. We'll be talking to him momentarily. Scott Bowlin, head coach, Greene County Tech Eagles. We talk to him every Saturday.
Scotty boy spent many years. We grew up together at Eastside Baptist Church, where I'm going here in a little bit to make that movie.
Well, then you need to interview him for it too.
Nah, he don't. He goes somewhere else now.
Oh, I see.
I don't want him in my movie.
Okay, fine. You don't get to be in the movie, Scott.
He knows I'm kidding.
After Scott, we've got a couple of coaches that we have never had on before. First up would be the East Poinsett County head girls basketball coach, who I've known for years. I love this guy. In fact, I'm sort of kin to him, kind of. Bobby Lewallen will be on right after Scott Bowlin. Yeah, I see him. He usually. We're sitting here talking to Ryan Vaughn, who usually comes up here this early in the morning to go working out. Instead, he's doing the absolute opposite of working out. He's coming here to get.
Ryan just stuck the donuts in his kid's hands.
Good answer. Good answer. He's dropped 20 pounds next door, and he'll tell anybody that'll listen. 20 pounds next door at Anytime Fitness.
But we have Bobby coming in.
Bobby's coming in second, and then the third guest, top of the hour at 9 o'clock, will be Coach Rick Smith, head girls coach, Marmaduke Lady Greyhounds.
Well, let me tell you something about Coach Smith. He's a class guy, and from a media standpoint, I'm not one of these media guys that'll just ask you that stupid question or that irritating question or want you to do something when you're not in the mood to do it, okay? And last night he just took it was 2 free throws. 2 out of 3 free throws. They fouled her with 3.8 seconds at the three-point line. And the little Qualls girl goes to the free throw line and hits 2 out of 3, and then Marmaduke can't make their last second shot. So he gets beat 47-45. I waited 45 minutes, 45 minutes. I kept my eye on him where he was at in the gym because I knew I had talked to him earlier in the week about coming on this morning. You sure don't want to walk up to a coach and ask him after he just
no, absolutely not.
Got beat by 2 points.
Right.
But I knew I had to do this. So I was standing there talking to April Finch, and she was helping sell T-shirts and sweatshirts, and I'd actually walked up to Mark Manchester before that and had asked his advice. He used to be a coach.
Sure, yeah. He's administrator at Walnut Ridge now.
And Mark said, "No, Cliff, I think it'll be okay." He said, "I'd just give him a little bit." He said, "But I think it'll be okay." I said, "All right." So stood there with April Finch for a minute, and I said, "Well, I've got to go do this." And I said, "Say a little prayer for me." And she smiled real big, And so anyway, I walk over there, and Rodney Hampton, his assistant, or sits on the bench with him, was talking to him. And I walked up, and Rodney shook my hand. Coach Smith shook my hand. And I said, "Tough loss, Coach." I said, I just come over here to see if I could still get you on the talk show in the morning. And so he says, "We're having a walkthrough." He said, "We play at noontime, and we have a walkthrough in the morning at 9 o'clock. And Rodney was kind of answering some of this too. And I said, "Well, I understand." I said, "I just had that slot to fill." And I said, "I really couldn't fill it and talk to you about it till after the game, And I said, "But I appreciate it." I said, we'll get you on, next year for sure, And I started to walk away, and he grabbed me by the arm. He goes, "Hey," He goes, I'll be there.
I think the next year probably got him because he didn't want you to have to wait till next year to get him on.
Well, I don't know that. I just thought it was really cool. He goes, looked at me, and he just real firm looked at me with a smile. He goes, I'll be there. Like,
Okay.
you know, I'm proud to come and do this. You know, I want to talk about my girls.
And they're not out of it, by the way.
No. They're going to the state tournament. This is the reason. But they play at 12 o'clock today.
For a consolation third place game.
And he's having a walkthrough at 9 or 9:30 this morning, and he's going to take 25 minutes of his time this morning.
Down from, it's over in Monette, right? The tournament is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's
But I'm sure they're going to do their walkthrough at Marmaduke.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I mean, so anyway, what I'm saying is he has a very short window this morning to do things, and he's coming to do this, and you know, it just made me feel good that he's taking that time to do that, to talk about his team and talk about his school and what he is expecting to happen today, and playing against Mark Tree, and about state coming up next week. So you know, anyway, it was a good night last night. Coach Lewallen, when I walked in, they had already won their game. No problem on asking him. We had already previously talked about it.
I'll tell you about Bobby Lewallen. He ever since I've been, there he is coming in the door.
He's just another class act.
Ever since I've been doing this, anything I've
looks
ever
like a race car driver coming up here.
He does. Anything I've ever asked of Bobby Lewallen to do for me, he's always done, and didn't even flinch about it. So I'm glad you got him to come on with us this morning.
We're fixing to put him on here in a minute.
And then our final guest of the day will be, of course,
Coach
Trey
Harding,
the girls coach at Greene County Tech. We're going to have all of that coming up for you. We're going to start next with Coach Scott Bowlin when we come back from a break right here on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
Your favorite teams play on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
Well, I'm trying to get Scott to quit messing with Clifton so we can go back on the air. Here we are, back on Double G Sports Talk Saturday. And we're live from Batten's Donuts, as always. We've never done this show from any place but Batten's Donuts. One of these days, Coach Bowlin, Scott Bowlin from Greene County Tech, I'm going to have your wife on, and we're going to get the lowdown. We're going to get all the dirty little secrets of being a coach's wife from your wife, live on the air on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
Hey, first of all, being serious about my wife, you know, it takes a special person, a special woman to be a coach's wife, and I know that I'm not the easiest guy to live with.
I know that too, and I don't even live with you.
And I guarantee you, for 5 months, it's really hard. And you know, hey, I really appreciate her, and I don't tell her enough. But you know, she's right there with me, and that means a lot to me. And so,
she's even on the bench with you during the game.
I know, you know, and that's really, I really enjoy that.
You don't see that every day at all.
Well, no, especially when all the other coaches are saying, "Who's that pretty woman beside you?" And I can say, "Well, that's my wife." So
don't tell them. See if they say, "Oh, that's just my stat keeper."
No, I don't want to. I don't want to have to get mad at them or anything. You know? So it's better not to say nothing.
Sitting in here with this hockey jersey on, and now this is the state of Utah on this patch right here. And that star represents Salt Lake City. Okay. So, and I know that Salt Lake City doesn't have an NHL hockey team, so this must be a minor league hockey jersey. The Salt Lake City
Grizzlies,
and the back says Lutz, some guy named Lutz, number 10. So
right.
Oh well, here it says right here it's from the East Coast Hockey League.
Right.
That's the minor leagues.
Right.
I've never seen anything. That's pretty cool.
I thought it was. You know, I'm getting older, so I don't get to. I don't spend as much on clothes and everything, but you know, you watch ESPN and you see those guys sort of set the trend sometime. And on these talk shows, they've been wearing these hockey jerseys, and hey, I think it's really cool, to be honest.
I'm wearing and I don't normally wear this up in public except when it's cold. I'm wearing my University of Florida sweatshirt, Gators, and It's not because I'm some huge Gator fan. I'm just cold, man. I got to have something cold.
No, well, you know what? Honestly, this is a pretty warm sweater. They call them sweaters. This is not a jersey.
Really?
They call all hockey jerseys sweaters. So I liked it. You know, it had some green in it, and
matches Greene County Tech's green too. Yeah,
I'm not afraid to wear something that nobody else in Paragoul's wore.
I like it.
So, you know, maybe be setting a new trend. I may see you next weekend with a hockey jersey on.
My nephew used to play minor league baseball in the Brewers organization, and he played for a team called the Helena Brewers, which was the single A or maybe even rookie league minor league affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Actually, I think it's a rookie league.
Rookie league, okay. Helena Brewers. So I had this Helena Brewers hat that I would wear all around, and nobody had a clue. They never recognized that logo before. So, yeah, there's a 1,000,006 different minor league teams in all sports out there that you never hear anything about.
Right. Well, I'm advertising for the Salt Lake City.
You're advertising for them this morning. You're representing this morning.
You know,
here.
if anybody gets a chance, I need to go to Salt Lake City and watch them.
Okay. I'll be on the first bus.
Yeah,
to go
there
see
you
them.
go.
All right. Let's talk some basketball. Regular season over. The final standings are in, and when everything is said and done, you guys get the number 3 seed from the 5A East to represent the 5A East in the state playoffs, in the state tournament. You guys held third place solely by yourself with a 10-4 third place record. And you've got Little Rock Mills in the opening round of the state tournament on, what day was it?
Wednesday at 5:30.
So the first day of the tournament, you're going to play like the third game of the day?
Second day.
Oh, it's starting Tuesday.
Starts Tuesday.
I thought it started Wednesday for some reason.
Starts Tuesday.
Okay, so everything now is set in front of you. You know exactly what you've got to do. 4 games to a championship.
All right.
Now, you go in and you talk to the guys. This is what we got to do. You're saying what to them?
Well, we just tell them that, you know, first of all, me and Coach Robertson have been in the state championship game 3 times. So, you know, outside of having good players, we sort of know the scenarios that that you may face going into the state tournament, and also we feel like that we know the mindset that you have to have. You know, at this point, you don't worry about the past, and you don't fret on the future. You just worry about
the 0-0 right now, as far as you're concerned, and your guys are concerned.
Well, we just worry about right now. We worry about Wednesday. We're bringing them in today for an hour. We'll do a lot of shooting, and then tomorrow we'll go for about an hour and 15. Monday we'll start talking about meals, and then Tuesday we'll sort of have a run through on what we're going to do against them. And you know, the thing that we tell them is this: don't leave anything, leave everything out on the floor. You know, win or lose, do the best you can, do what we ask you to do, and if we do that, then we feel like that we'll have a chance every time we play. But don't have any regrets when it's all said and done.
So, okay, you finished the season with what record overall? Because I was only keeping up with the conference.
We're 15-12.
15-12, and everybody, including yourself, did not expect you guys to be where you are right now at this point in the season.
Oh no, we were finished. We were picked by the sports writers and coaches to finish next to last
in the 5A East.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're third and going to state playoffs and hosting the thing.
We are. You know, it's sort of a big concern of mine. I guess it's probably my ego talking. You know, I found out in a roundabout way that we were going to host a state tournament, and I'm thinking, holy cow, I'm going to have to sit here a whole week and cater to every coach in the 5A while I'm sitting here and our team's not going to play. And I sort of, you know, that sort of hurt my ego a little bit because I didn't know we was going to be able to make it or not. And, you know, I've had a lot of phone calls from different people and sports writers, and they well, what have you done different the last 5 weeks than you didn't do the previous 10 weeks? Now, I can't tell them. I don't know what we did. We just
well, those guys are trying to figure out there's some secret to the 5A East that maybe it's a weaker conference than the other ones. We're here to tell you right now, 5A East is probably the toughest conference.
Well, I think last year it was pretty weak. I think this year it's better. We went and watched the West, number 1 team in the West, play last night. They're solid.
You saw the Harrison and Alma game last night?
I did.
Wow.
They're solid. Alma is and Harrison both.
Yeah, but Alma got beat last night by 10 in a marathon game.
99 to 89.
99 to 89 last night. Wow.
But we feel like that. I feel like that our 4th place team can compete with their first place, and I feel like that their first place, or vice versa, their 4th place can compete with our first place. So,
well, we're about to talk about that because the side of the bracket that you are on, Harrison squeaked into the playoffs last night by winning that game. They had to beat Alma, the number 1 seed,
by 10,
and they had to do it by 10. And they did exactly that, 99 to 89. Where was the game in Harrison or was it in Alma? It was in Harrison.
It's at the Spook House.
At the Goblin the Spook House. Okay,
that's what they call it.
That's what they call it.
Yeah,
they had to do
underlying current there. I think
they knew what they had to do, and I think at the last minute of the game, there was a guy for Alma on the free throw line with 2 free throws. Correct me if I'm wrong about this. The guy had 2 free throws, and if he would have made both of those free throws, it would have only been a 9-point victory for
it'd been an 8
Harrison.
They'd have been an 8-point.
It was 3 free throws.
No, they were up 10.
They were up 10.
And he had 2 foul shots.
Yeah.
If he makes both of them, it goes 8.
And Harrison's out.
Harrison's out by 1, but instead he missed, and they're in by 1.
That is amazing. That is, literally down to the last second of the ball game to determine, even though they were winning. Yeah. It came down to the last second of that ball game to determine if they were going to the state playoffs or not. Right. That is amazing.
Well, my first year here, the same thing happened to us. We got beat by 3 points and didn't get in.
And you needed to win.
We needed to win by 7. We won by 4. Talking about our season, we've won 15 games, and our first 2 subs off the bench are sophomores, and and then our other guy, Hunter Matheny, you watch him come into the practice floor. You may think that he's our manager, or he may be a rerun in a white skin, but does a great job for us. And like I said, I'm very proud of them. They've overachieved. They believe that going into Wednesday that they have a chance to get to Hot Springs.
Oh, I see them on Twitter all the time talking about nothing less than a state championship. Yeah. They honestly believe, and there's no reason for them not to, that they're going to Hot Springs.
Well, I think there's 2 things, and this is just my opinion, and my opinion's like Bobby's or yours. It's not worth a whole lot sometimes. But I think there's 2 reasons why our season was turned around. One, I think the kids started believing in each other, and I really believed that that name on their chest sort of kicked in.
Do you think that was lacking in the first few weeks of the season?
I don't. Yeah, I think so. I think we were still having some hangover from last year, to be honest with you. We won 9 ball games last year, and we struggled the whole year and just never could get it going. But I think that we had a hangover from last year. I think we played unbelievable non-conference. Of our let's see, we're 15-13. Of our 13 losses, 10 losses came from either ranked teams or they were 6 or 7A. So we really played a tough non-conference. But I just feel like probably the program, and that's what I'm the most proud of. I keep alluding to Bobby. Bobby was there when I first came in, so he knows what I'm talking about. We wasn't very good when I first got there, and I just think that once the kids bought in, that I just think that the program won some games this year. Does that make sense?
Right, he's talking to Bobby Lewallen over there.
I just think it.
So Bobby was at Greene County Tech for a short period of time.
Matter of fact, he was there the first year I was there. We came in together.
Wow. You You were an assistant coach. I'm sorry, I'm talking to Bobby off mic. You were an assistant coach at Greene County Tech, assistant football.
Didn't you coach
basketball?
I
knew that. Maybe I knew that.
7th grade, yeah.
All right, we're going to talk to Bobby in a minute.
Yeah, Bobby's done a great job. I mean, golly, he's been in the state championship how many times?
Well, wow. That's another thing we're going to go over. You're giving away all my questions, man.
Well, we're talking about hockey jerseys,
All right, I'm gonna before wow, we've already used up a bunch of the time I had to.
Go ahead, just real quick. I'll answer them quick.
Well, no. I want to get this stuff. I want to look at this bracket here because we were talking about Harrison.
Right.
You're on the same side of the bracket with them now that they have squeaked into the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
I know you don't want to look ahead. I'm not going to ask you to look ahead, but
That's all right. Ask me to look ahead.
top to bottom.
Uh-huh.
Which half of the bracket do you think is the tougher road? The half that you're on, or the half that Forest City got on?
I'll just say this: we really like our position.
Okay. Forest City, man, that bottom half. We're not gonna lie to you. It's loaded.
Yes, it is.
Forest City's on that thing. Greenwood and Central Arkansas Christian. There's some good teams on that bottom half of the bracket.
I really think that the 5A is really, really. I think it's wide open. You'd have to give Sylvan Hills the, probably the edge just because they have one of the top 10 players in the country.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that whoever can come in here next week, make some shots, can play a half-court game on both ends of the floor, and rebound the ball, which these are all cliches. But if you can do those, you're gonna get the Hot Springs.
And what people don't realize is that every game of the state playoffs, except for the Hot Springs game, every game is a home game for you. They're all home games.
That is.
And you don't get to see that every day. You don't get to say that every year. You don't get to say that once every 10 years.
Well, we've I'll tell you what, it's been really neat about that, too, is we've had our student body has participated so well this year. I mean, and I'm telling you, you got to give them some credit for what they have done. I think they've really made a difference in a couple games, and I know it gets our players excited that they're there, and it gives them some extra energy, especially maybe at the end of the game.
Folks, they call them the Rail Rumblers, in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of football players and baseball players out there.
And this regular students, actually.
And regular students out there giving it everything for the basketball teams out on the floor. Cody Davis and Travis Ryan.
Yeah.
And there's just a bunch of guys. I can't even name them all. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of guys up there in the student section that they let you know that you're in the Eagles' nest.
Well, we really appreciate them, and I don't tell them that enough. We have an outstanding group of cheerleaders. Our dance team is second to none. I've always said this. It's when you come to Tech to a basketball game, the basketball game may be the most boring part because it's a show. That's what it is. It's a show.
Yeah, exactly. And it's best, $6 to get in?
It's the cheapest show you can go to.
Best $6 you'll ever spend.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially I'll tell you what. Let's talk real quick about the Greene County Tech Blytheville. The last game that we had of you on yourPrimetimeSports.com. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to go on and listen to our audio on demand of that, but I've been calling it all over Facebook and all over yourPrimetimeSports.com an instant classic.
It was a good game, definitely. We were very fortunate to come out there with a win. Blytheville is, been a perennial power in the East, and Coach Hickson and Coach Tyler do an outstanding job. And every time that we get together right now, it seems like it goes down to a classic. We played them at Tech with a double overtime victory, and then we beat them with 1 second left down there.
Yeah, absolutely. The only, I don't say bad game because it was a halfway decent game, but the only less than 100% performance you had against them this year, luckily, was a non-conference game. Mm-hmm. And it didn't mean anything in the standings, but it kept you guys from getting that Greene County Tech Christmas Classic trophy.
Well, I think it was probably a good thing, to be honest. I think it was a learning tool for us, and we sort of figured out where we stood with one of the better teams in the East.
Well, this is going to be an historic week for Greene County, an historic week for the Eagles. State championships are coming through here. That's something you only get to say, once every 8 or 10 years.
Right.
And you guys are sitting in the driver's seat in your own gym, and we're not going to broadcast. We can't broadcast due to AAA regulations and stuff like that, but we're going to be there.
Right.
And we're pulling for you.
Sure. Like I said, y'all have done an outstanding job. I've told Clifton off the air that really appreciate what y'all do. With y'all sort of being here and we're sort of your home school, whatever. I think it's great that you bring Bobby in and Smith in from Marmaduke. because they do outstanding jobs, and I've coached in the smaller schools, and sometimes when I'm getting my head beat in and there's 2,000 people in the stands, I'm thinking, wow, Delaplane sure looks good right now.
And they're closed right now.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, Bobby and them do a great job. We have a lot of outstanding coaches, and I don't say that loosely.
Well, he lives here in Paragould.
No, I
and
know
still
he
drives
does.
back and forth to Lepanto.
Yeah, but I'm just saying we have a lot of very, very good coaches in Northeast Arkansas, and in my opinion, the best in the state, up and down the line. And Northeast Arkansas is a basketball playing area, and we have some good fans and who understand the game. And like everybody else, we have some that are pretty silly, but that just comes with life. You're gonna be around people that are gonna be positive and negative, and you got to choose which one you want to be around. And I know as far as coaches, I can pretty much assure you which ones we want to be. We want in our corner at the end of the day.
Well, Coach, I again appreciate you listening to. I'm listening to. You got me. I appreciate you coming on again. It's been, 10 weeks in a row, 8 weeks in a row?
Something like that. My wife's sort of upset, says I don't get to sleep much. But
we're going to interview her next Saturday. We're going to interview you next Saturday. We're going to have our, the state tournament will be all but over.
Well, let's hope that
next Saturday morning.
Let's hope that we're preparing to play at 1:30 that Saturday.
That's absolutely correct. We hope you are, and we hope to have you on again Saturday.
Great.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Hey, go get you a hockey jersey.
You know what? I think I might do that.
I'm telling you, they're cheap.
All right, we're going to take a break. That was Coach Bowlin, head coach, Greene County Tech boy. There we go. You turned me off. Head coach, Greene County Tech Eagles. We are going to take an extended break, bottom of the hour break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Coach Bobby Lewallen, head girls coach of the East Poinsett County Lady Warriors, right here on yourprimetimesports.com.
Your favorite teams play on yourprimetimesports.com.
Welcome back, Double G Sports Talk Saturday. We're down a G this morning. Clifton Garmrath has left to go take care of other responsibilities, so you just got one G this morning, me, Dave Grimm, and with my second guest right now. Now, me and this guy go back to my beginning days.
That's right.
Of sports coverage in Northeast Arkansas. I've been here 10 years now.
Yeah,
and,
10 years. You've been harassing me for 8 years.
Harassing you for 8 of them, yeah. He is the head coach of the girls basketball team, the East Poinsett County Lady Warriors, Bobby Lewallen. We have other connections besides basketball, though, because my nieces are your second cousins.
Exactly, yep.
The Dykus twins, the girls who play basketball for the Paragould Lady Rams. They're juniors this year. They'll be back another year. They're going to be a force next year.
They sure are.
Oh,
They've
my
got a
gosh.
good team over there.
The East Poinsett County Lady Warriors, no slouches themselves. How many times have you been to the state championship game since you've been the head coach there?
Well, this is my 8th season over there at EPC, and we've been in the state finals 2 different times. Hadn't been fortunate enough to win one, but we sure have gotten close a couple times.
Oh, I thought I could have sworn you won one.
No, we in 2008, Jordan Madden, the one that's playing at Baylor right now, she tied a state record with 45 points in that state final game, and we just couldn't hang on. We had a pretty decent lead in the first half, and Marshall's an excellent team, well coached, and boy, they execute so well, and they did a great job of making shots and putting us in tough situations defensively, and they were able to come back and got a 5-point victory, and so we actually dropped it.
To go to the state championship game,
yeah,
twice in the 8 years you've been there. Plus, how many times in that 8 years have you been to the state playoffs.
We've been in the state playoffs every season.
Every season you have been the head coach.
Yep.
That's an amazing accomplishment right there by itself.
Yeah. Well, I've had some good guys come through, had some good players, and the support over there at EPC. The administrators, they back me, and the kids they like basketball, they like to work, and so I've been fortunate over there and really like it.
Now we talked about Jordan Madden. Mm-hmm. She is one of your players. She's now playing number one team in the country right now.
Number one team in the country.
At the University of Baylor, the Baylor Lady Bears. And it's a feat for them to be number one because you got UConn and Tennessee who have been perennial number ones over the past 2 decades. Yeah. And now you got somebody different in the number one, and Jordan Madden just happens to be on that team.
Yeah, Jordan's on that team. It's always a lot of fun, flipping channels or, looking up there and seeing Jordan, you out at a restaurant or something and watching a game on TV. And, there's a kid that grew up in Lepanto and, somebody that I know really well and coached her, since she was an 8th grader. And, there she is on TV playing basketball. She's from an incredibly
athletic family.
Oh, yeah.
All the Maddens have been playing on they've all gone on to play on the next level, and they're kin to the Monks. Marcus Monk went on to play at the University of Arkansas. That family is just tremendously athletic.
Oh yeah, they're good athletes, and it's a great family too. Good. The kids are good. The mom and dad. You can't ask for nicer people, and guys that are going to support you, and in any way possible. And talking about the Monk family, Marcus's little brother is an 8th grader over there now, and if you haven't had a chance to go see Malik play, he's incredible.
You think Marcus is good? Wait till this kid gets to be a senior or a freshman in college. This kid is going to be. He's dunking the basketball. He's 8th grade.
Yeah, in 8th grade, and he'll do it any way you want it to. I mean, he has really just exploded in the last 6 months.
Now, have you had in the 8 years you've been at EPC? Have you had anything to do with helping with the boys program at all in those 8 years?
Well, I do what I can. I'm in their practices every day, and when Coach Hill needs anything, we're splitting up guards and posts. I go down and work with whoever he wants. I'm there for him, and he's there for me. He sits on my bench with me, and helps me out, and it's we really work together a lot, as much as we can.
Now, we talked about Jordan Madden. What other players have come through Lepanto that you coached, girls players, that have also gone on to play on in a next level? Whether it doesn't have to be necessarily Division I level, but surely there's been some more that have gone on and played in other places.
Right. Yeah, we've had had the 2 D1s come through. The sisters. Jordan went to Baylor, and her older sister Sade, she had a Division I scholarship to Wichita State. And there's been a handful of others that's gone on to a couple junior colleges. Wallace State down in Alabama, and a few other places. And right now we're working trying to get Brittany Ball, my post player. Trying to get her somewhere to play. We've sent out some DVDs, made some phone calls to college coaches, and haven't been able to get her a scholarship yet, but we're still working on that. And I've got a couple juniors that are not bad. I've got a 6-foot post player, Alicia Ross, that's really been playing well, and going to work hard, try to get her something as well next year too. So
it's an incredibly rural area,
right?
Lepanto and the surrounding towns that are part of the East Poinsett County School District. And I can't even think of, is it Tyronza's part of it? And then there's some other little, even smaller towns that are all encompassed into the East Poinsett County School District. That's an incredibly rural area for there to be so much athletic talent coming out of that area.
Right. You got EPC, which consists of Lepanto and Tyronza. Those two consolidated back in the mid-'80s, and our boys won a state championship last year. And then just right down the road, you got Rivercrest. It's got Wilson, Arkansas, another little small town, and Luxora, and they won a state championship last year. And then of course you got Bay, which is a little closer to Jonesboro, but you got 3 state championship teams from last season right here in Northeast
Highway
Arkansas.
63.
Right.
Yeah, that's this incredibly concentrated athletic area right there in Mississippi County and eastern Craighead County. Now you're a Paragould guy. You're from here.
Yeah, I've been making that drive for 8 years now, but
and you actually, we talked about this a moment ago. You actually coached at Greene County Tech before you went over to EPC.
Yeah, I was at Greene County Tech for a year as assistant junior high football coach, and when the head girls basketball position came open at EPC. Threw my name in the hat. Was wanting to be a head coach, and was fortunate enough to get it. And so I started making that long drive to Lepanto every day.
When you got out of college, and I guess Greene County Tech was your first gig out of college?
Actually, Piggott.
Piggott.
I was at Piggott. I was assistant boys coach at Piggott. I'm a lot older than you think, man.
Dude, I don't think – what are you, 31, 32?
Oh, man, you got to keep on going. We can't say that on the radio.
Oh,
man.
I cannot believe that you're that old. So,
Exactly.
But you've been a head coach for 8 years.
I've been a head coach for 8 years.
When you were doing those assistant gigs, and that was primarily boys stuff, boys
Right.
basketball, football. Did you at that time, when you got out of college and started doing these assistant gigs, did you even have girls athletics on your radar?
No. Whenever I was in college, I was baseball was the only thing I thought about. I was
Really?
hoping to be a baseball coach, and I went to Piggott and was able to be assistant football, baseball, and basketball. So I had my hand in all three sports, and worked with Coach Steve Wilson over at Piggott. I sat in on a lot of Coach Bowlin's practices in Greene County Tech when he first got there, and worked with Josh over at EPC. I've been around some good guys, and just really, really enjoyed the basketball.
I have found in the 20 whatever years I've been doing this total that about half the time when you ask a coach this question I'm about to ask you, they can rattle it off immediately, and the other half they either won't or don't know the answer, but they probably do know the answer. What's your overall head coaching record, senior high level?
Last time we looked at it, I think we needed 24 wins this season to put me at 200.
Wow. And where are you sitting at right
We're
now?
at 22.
Oh, my. So
We're
you
22.
could, by winning the first game of the state tournament, you could hit 200 wins.
We're getting close.
If you win today.
Win today and win first round, that would be it.
We're going to take a very short break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about this year's Lady Warriors and where you are right this minute. We're going to take a very short break and come back right here on yourprimetimesports.com.
Your favorite teams play on yourprimetimesports.com.
Welcome back, Double G Sports Talk, Saturday from Batten's Donuts in the Paragould Plaza. We're going to jump right back into it with Coach Bobby Lewallen, the head coach, EPC Lady Warriors. We've spent most of our time this morning talking to him about his program during the time that he has been there, the past 8 seasons, but we haven't talked about this season at all. You've got you've been to the state playoffs every year you've been there, and you're going to go again. You've already you punched your ticket to go to Newark for the state tournament, the state championships in Hot Springs this year again. Let's talk about this year's squad. What sets them apart from the previous playoff teams that you have had, and how do you feel? How deep of a run do you feel like they can make?
Well, I've got three guys that's been starting for me since they were sophomores. Terica Madden, it's Jordan and Sade's little sister. And I've got 2 twins, Brittany Ball and Whitney Ball. Brittany Ball's a 3-time All-State post player. She's got one move. She's going to go the left block, and she's going to shoot a left-handed shot. But, she's so strong and physical. When she gets the basketball down low, she's pretty hard to stop. I got a little freshman that I moved up from my junior high team. Actually, she didn't play any junior high games at all this year. We just moved her straight up, and she's super quick and a real good ball handler named Centeria Ward. And, she's got a bright future for us, too, and a real good ball handler. And so I've got my post player I mentioned earlier is a 6-foot post, and she's really come on in the last month or so of the season. Got a nice little turnaround jump shot on the block. She's not a great ball handler, but you give her 1 or 2 dribbles, she handles it well enough. She can go by people. She's pretty quick, and she's been double just about every game this last couple months. She had 20 points and 14 rebounds last night, so she's really been playing well. And I've got a junior coming off the bench, another point guard. She's more of a scorer than the one that I start, but she's really aggressive. Sometimes she takes a little questionable shots at times, but boy, she's aggressive and she wants to get to the basket. And that our game plan on offense is we're going to try to going to try to get the basketball inside. We got the 2 big guys in there, so that's pretty much our game. Not great outside shooters, but we're going to try to fast break it when we can. And my 2 post guys are racing to see who can get to that block first, and it's usually going to be the Ross girl, and we're going to try to throw that thing inside as much as we can.
Now, when was the last time you guys made it to the state championship game? It was
2008.
2008. So none of these guys that you got right now were on that team at all.
No, they were all youngsters back then.
Now, and on at least one of those teams, you were undefeated going into the game. Is that correct?
We were in 2007. We made the Final Four that year. We were undefeated. We were 27-0 playing Marshall in the regional semifinals, and they beat us in overtime.
Yeah, I was at that game.
Yeah.
Marshall got you guys twice in a row.
Yep, they got us twice. We wound up there was a 3-year stretch. We lost 6 games, and Marshall beat us 4 times.
Wow.
And beat us in the regional tournament both years, and then beat us in the Final Four, and then in the state championship.
And that's AAA. You're in AA now, right?
Yeah,
you don't get to see Marshall anymore.
No, we haven't seen them in a while.
Yay!
Coach Stewart, he's moved on too, so he's not there at Marshall anymore.
Well,
he had my number.
Yeah, I guess so. What record do you have now going into tonight's regional championship game?
We're 22-8.
22-8. Now the 8 losses, have those been? Were they conference losses, or did you guys have a really tough non-conference where you were playing guys way?
Both. We have our conference is. It's unbelievable how good our conference is. I mean, we've got some great teams in our conference. You got Marmaduke and BIC both been ranked in the top 5 or 6 all season long, and
they both got you at some point. Yeah,
BIC's actually they've beat us 3 times. Marmaduke's beat us once. Mark Tree beat us early in the season.
So wait a minute, you're playing tonight for a championship against a team that has beaten you 3 times, 3 of your 8 losses.
Right.
Wow.
They've beaten us 3 times, and they beat us in the district finals last week.
And so do you think, you play somebody that often, sooner or later, if you beat them that often, sooner or later, they're going to find a way to beat you?
Well, you would think that sooner or later it'd be our turn to get one.
It may be tonight. It
might be. I don't know. Brittany Fowler, she's got a lot to do with that. She's a tough kid to guard, and we chase her all over the basketball court, and she still finds a way to score.
Well, you're going to the state playoffs regardless because they take the top
top 4
from this region, and they have a consolation game to determine 3rd and 4th seed from the conference. So you're going to go in at least a 2 anyway.
Right. We'll at least be the 2, and all 4 teams from our conference made the regional.
That's another
Final
thing.
Four.
You guys swept the 5 AA is the other team in this region.
We swept boys and girls.
That's the conference though. The 5 is it the 5 AA? No, it's 2 AA South.
Yeah, South.
2 AA South. You guys swept them out of the regionals. They don't have any postseason teams going on in the state.
They don't have anybody going. That that just speaks for our conference right there. How tough it's been. And, we've just been battling out with each other all year, and we're going to do it. Going to do it one more time.
Talk about the fact that the state tournament is being played this year over in Newark. That's relatively close. Not a lot of travel time for you guys. Yeah. How will that? Well, obviously that's going to be a benefit for you.
Right. That always helps. The kids get to keep their same routine. We have a morning practice, so we'll still get to keep our regular schedule. Have practice in the morning. Kids get to go to school, and they're in the same routine that they're always in, rather than having to go out of town like we did a few years ago in 2007. The state tournament was up at Bergman, and the regional tournament was at Bergman, and the state tournament was at Harrison. So that 2-week stretch, there was 11 days that we stayed in a hotel.
Mm-hmm. You won't have to stay in a hotel going to Newark.
Right. We won't have to stay. We'll just be able to hop on the bus and head over there. And
about a 2-hour ride from Lepanto?
Yeah, it's an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. It's not bad. We went to Conway and played in a tournament this year, so the kids know what to expect. They know to bring a pillow and a blanket and take a quick nap on the way over to the game. So,
well, you guys, the road continues tonight. The regional is in.
It's at Buffalo Island.
It's in Buffalo Island. I knew that. Yeah, it's right over there. And so you guys play tonight, the 6 o'clock game.
We got the 6 o'clock game. Our boys follow us in the in the night show.
And you're playing the home team.
Got the home team.
Buffalo
Gonna be a big
Island
crowd.
Central, yeah. And that's tonight, 6 o'clock, at the MAC, the Mustang Athletic Complex, that big palace of a gym that they have built over there in the middle of the cotton fields.
Right, and they've done an outstanding job over there hosting the tournament, and they do every year. You know, they've got some great school people over there, the administrators, the kids, you know, that are out there, you know, cheering their teams on, you know, the parents that are helping with the hospitality room. You know, you can't hardly ask for a better place to host a tournament. They've done a great job.
Well, I'll tell you this, that a bunch of these people that are going to that tournament over there, they come right through Paragould to get over to Monette.
That's right.
And business is up in Paragould right now, and it's going to be up even more next week with this 5A state playoffs coming to Greene County Tech. Paragould has been basically the hub of basketball for the past 3 weeks. We had a conference tournament over here last week at CRA. So we've been a hub for basketball for it'll be 3 weeks in a row now. And we're glad you guys are moving on. We're glad you guys are part of it, and I'm definitely glad that I got to have 8 years we've been doing this. My other gig and now this gig. Right. I'm glad you got to come in and hang out with me this morning.
I am too, Dave. I really appreciate you guys asking me to come on, and you know what you guys are doing. It's a great thing, and I can't wait for you guys to just keep expanding this and getting bigger and letting everybody know.
Right now we're primarily Greene
here.
County, but we do absolutely want to expand outside of Greene County, and you guys are right next door. So you guys are on the expansion list.
All right, that sounds great. Well, I appreciate you having me on today.
That's Bobby Lewallen, head coach, East Poinsett County Lady Warriors. We're going to take a top of the hour break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Marmaduke Lady Greyhounds head coach Rick Smith right here on YourPrimetimeSports.com. There we are. Welcome back to YourPrimetimeSports.com. Double G Sports Talk Saturday, hour number 2, getting underway right now. My next guest sitting here with me at Badden's Donuts and Bakery in the Paragould Plaza, and that's the head coach of the Lady Greyhounds for Marmaduke, and that's Rick Smith. Thanks for coming on. First time for you also.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
We talked a bunch about the 2A regional, actually 3A North.
2A3.
Your conference is the 3A North, the 3AA.
2A3 North.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. And you guys have swept through the regional. All the teams from your conference have swept through the regional, knocked out all the teams from the other conference, and all 4 of your conference representatives are going to the state playoffs. You guys had a tough 2-point game-ending, right there at the end of the game, loss last night against Buffalo Island Central, but you're still going to state playoffs.
Oh, yes. They got a good bunch. We've played them 5 times this year. And
Five times already?
Yes. They beat us. The 4 wins they've got against us, I think it's a total of 9 points, and we played them at the Paragould Classic, and I believe we beat them double digits there.
Over here at the McDonald's,
yes, sir.
Right behind us at Paragould High School. And wow, you guys have had a great season also. We were talking about your season actually with one of the former head coaches of the girls team. We had, oh my gosh, his name just went out, Matt Dean. We had Matt Dean up here, and Rector's in the thing too, right?
No, they got beat. Actually, I think the only games they lost this year was in our conference. They were undefeated outside our conference, and they lost 8 games inside our conference.
So they didn't make it to the postseason? They didn't make it to the regional?
No, sir.
Oh, wow.
Mark Tree beat them by 1 point in the conference tournaments.
Wow. Okay, so they are – so the 4 teams in girls from your conference that are all 4 of them going to state now are you guys and EPC and Mark Tree and BIC.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you played – BIC last night. You got to go play a 3rd place game in that regional today against Mark Tree. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
At noon today.
Yes.
What are you doing here?
Hey, we've played them 5 or 6 times over the last couple of years, so there's not a lot you can do to talk about. We'll meet up there at the school here in a little bit and head that way. Like I said, you just got to go over and play at this point, and they've got some really good players, and Coach Druitt over there does a good job.
Clifton told me that you were coming on this morning after the game last night. I said, no, he's not. You misunderstood him. He said, no, he's going to be there. I said, okay, so here you are, and you got a full day ahead of you. Are you going to hang out after the game tonight and watch the championship over at the regional?
Yeah, me and Coach Robinson, we'll go back to school after the game and after our game, and then try to figure out about our opponents, and then we'll go back to the championship tonight.
All right, let's back up just a little bit. Let's talk about how long have you been at Marmaduke?
Actually, I was an assistant for 3 years under Coach Hoffman, and this is my second year to be the head coach.
Where'd Coach Hoffman, Spencer Hoffman,
yes, sir.
He ended up going where?
He's in Kennett, Missouri now.
Wow. Okay. All right. So you've been the head coach. This is your second year. How'd you guys do last year?
We ended up 28-13, got to the Elite
awesome.
8 of the state tournament.
In the state tournament, got to the Elite 8. Okay.
And actually got beat by England by 4 points, and we played them closer than anybody, and they won the state championship.
So you're hoping to improve upon that this year. You're already going to state. Talk about how you guys got to where you are right now. Talk about this season and who has got you to where you are right now.
Well, all our kids they work really hard. We've got a good group of juniors. We've got Whitley Boggs, Jessica Boggs, Alexis Jones, Jessica Lee, and then we've got a couple more. Caitlin Robinson, which has had some injuries. But she's getting about 100% now, and we expect a lot out of her next year. Rachel Van is also a junior. She's helped us a lot. Callie Price is a really, really good sophomore. She had 28 in one game in our conference tournament, And then we've got a good group of seniors. Probably got, I feel, the best point guard in our conference and the best. She's 4'11", had 21 last night. Not a three-point shooter, but she hit 4 threes last night. She just does what it takes to win. We've got Mercedes Jones, which is a senior that we've had some good years out of. And then we've got a couple more good leaders that are seniors, Kalinda Hampton and Bethany Long.
So you guys have had a bunch of how many games have you played? What's your record so far?
We're 31-7.
Wow. So you're better this year than you were record-wise than you were last year going to the Elite 8.
Yes, sir. And, all our losses actually has been inside our conference. EPC's beat us twice, and I think a total of 6 points. And 4 of the losses to BIC, total of 9 points, 4 losses. It's been 9 total points.
And 1 loss to Paragould.
Yes, and Paragould, we're just, bottom line is they're a lot better than us. Got a great program at Paragould. Coach Cook does a good job, and basically all of them's returning. So
I know. We talk about that all the time.
Maybe we'll get an opportunity to play them again next year because that helped us. That helped us a whole lot. It was a springboard maybe the rest of our season.
So your only non-conference loss this year was to 5A East undefeated Paragould.
Yes, and possibly, I don't know. I guess there's somebody in 5A better than them, but I'd like to see them.
There's not. They're 14-0, undefeated in 5A East, and I think, me personally, on their way to a state championship. That's just me thinking out loud.
I know that we could probably play them 10 times and never beat them. I mean, they got a great team.
Well, you guys have a great team. Only lost 7 games all year long. Only non-conference against Paragould. And that speaks volumes to the strength of your conference, that you've went out and played all these non-conference opponents, and the only one that beat you was Paragould. And then you start getting your losses when you play conference. That speaks volumes about the strength of your conference.
Yeah, I opened up the paper this morning and noticed that Batesville Southside and Valley View's in the championship of the 4A region. I think we beat Valley View 13 and we beat Southside 15.
That's amazing.
And they're in the championship for the 4A, so that does speak volumes for our league.
Well, I was wanting to talk to you, but that's okay. I'm talking to somebody else while I'm talking to you at the same time.
And actually, in that 4A, Pocahontas, I believe, is playing Brooklyn in the consolation of that.
All those 4A schools that you guys beat during the non-conference.
Yeah, we beat Brooklyn, I think, 15.
Valley View, Brooklyn, Pocahontas.
And Batesville Southside would beat Tim and the Williams Baptist when we won it.
What other big, notable non-conference games did you guys have that you won?
Little Rock Christian, I think they're 5 or 6A. They got a good team. We beat them at the Paragould Classic. Played real well that day. Corning, which has a good program over there. We'd never beat them until this year, and we beat them 3 times.
Wow.
And they're 3A.
Yeah.
They're 3A. So, but they got a good. She has a good program over there. Does a good job, and and I felt fortunate we beat them 3 times.
Okay, we've got you for a few more minutes here. Well, I've got you for. I'm waiting on my next guest to show up. I've got you for about 10 more minutes here before I got to turn you loose, and you got to do the things you got to do. Let's talk about the regional. Let's talk about your run to the regional tournament. Let's talk about the district tournament first. How you guys did in that, and then we'll talk about the regional.
In the district tournament, we were second in our league during the regular season, and so we had a bye to the semis, and we played EPC, which has got a good bunch, and didn't play real well. We had 22 turnovers that game, which is pretty uncharacteristic of us. We were averaging about 7.5 a game, and credit to us, I guess. Had 22 turnovers, didn't play well, and we got beat 4.
Wow.
So we could have played a little better in that
but
basketball game.
But you had beaten East Poinsett County during the regular season prior to that game.
Actually beat them on their floor. That's the first time we beat them over there since I've been at Marmaduke as a head coach or an assistant.
Wow. Okay, so now being the second seed in the district tournament, you had an automatic bid to the regionals. All you had to do was win one game and you were automatically going to state. You had that game a couple of nights ago. That game was against who?
Cedar Ridge, and they ended up second in the tournament in their league, and they got a good team too. But I tell you, we really had a good defensive effort. I talked to the son after the game, and Cedar Ridge hit a field goal in the first quarter, and the next field goal they had was 25 minutes later in the fourth quarter after I'd subbed.
Wow.
So, and I think
they just had a bad night.
Well, they probably had a bad night, and I think maybe our defense had a little something to do
absolutely,
with it.
Sure.
Like I said, that's the best defensive effort we've had. And of course, last night we give up 44 points to a great BIC team.
Cedar Ridge had to think going into that game that they had a postseason shot because they're hosting the state tournament. They made bids for that, and they won the bids. They were looking at that thing like they were going to be the home team in the state tournament, and now they're not even going to play in it.
Well, actually they were the second seed and we're the third seed, and like I said, they had a good bunch, and they had won 11, I think, out of 12 since Christmas, so they were on a real hot streak.
Let's talk about what you're going to be doing in less than 3 hours. You're going to be playing to try and get the third place seed out of this regional into the state tournament in Cedar Ridge next week. Now, I don't know if you looked at the brackets, but is there much difference in being the third seed from this region as opposed to the fourth seed as far as where you will be in the bracket of the state playoffs?
Well, we're going to play Mountainburg or Bigelow the first round, and both teams got really good teams. They've also been ranked in the top 5 all year long, and you'd like to probably going in be opposite England because they're state champions, didn't lose anybody, but you can't look at those things that much. You just got to take it a game at a time because England could get upset because they got upset in their conference. They may not get beat again, but like I said, they should be the favorites, I'd say, in the tournament because they won it last year and didn't lose anyone.
They didn't lose anybody from last year's state championship team. That's
of course we didn't lose anybody either last year, and they beat us 4 in the semis. But we'd watch some tape on them, and you can't simulate some things because their quickness was amazing. We were down 27-12 at the end of the first quarter and tied it with a minute and a half to go in the fourth.
So today you've got Mark Treat to find out where you're going to be seated in that tournament. You've played them a bunch this year too.
We have, and they've got 3 really good players, and they've actually got probably the best Division I athlete in our conference, in my opinion. I've been fortunate over the years when I was in Tennessee to coach some good Division I players. To name a few, Chastity Vazelle, which is at Texas now, had her own AAU team.
Wow.
And Chantel Poston, she played for me some, and she's at Purdue. But Division I wise, I know that Punu Perry has already been offered a Division I scholarship, and like I said, she's probably the best Division I athlete in our conference.
So, okay, after this year, I mean, you still got your postseason run to try and make. Who do you lose on this team? Who are seniors? Who you got coming back?
We have one starter that's a senior, and she's just like, she's probably the heart of our team right now. Anna Bass, she's a 4'11" point guard, and we've got some more seniors I mentioned a while ago: Glenda Hampton, Bethany Long, and Mercedes Jones.
But they're not starting. Those 4 are not starters?
No, but Mercedes plays a lot. She's been, and you know, like I said, Bethany Long and Glenda Hampton's been very instrumental in our team the last 2 years. They're great leaders, and they've given us some good minutes. But I would like to say that, you know, we've got, you know, a good junior group coming back. Our sophomore group's good, and probably the 5 years I've been there, we had our best junior high team this year. We won 30 games.
Won 30 games in junior high. Last year, you took this group, who you lost nobody from, to the final 8 of the state championships. This year, you got them all back. Next year, you only lose 1 starter, and you've got 30-win 9th graders coming up to join you next year.
Yes,
you guys are loaded.
We probably got a chance. You know, our junior group was 29-1 when they were in junior high, and then last year we won 28 in junior high. So, you know, we've got some good kids coming, and you know, in junior high this year our conference might have been a little down. You know, BIC beat us once in the conference, and then you know, I thought we were a little better than them all year, and in the conference championship we beat them 26, and that's probably the closest game we had in the conference this year, other than the time they beat us.
So when basketball season is over, completely over, what does Rick Smith do after that?
Well, you know, we'll take probably 3, 4, 5 weeks off, and then I've got several kids from other schools plus ours, and we play a lot of MAYB stuff in the summer. And
so you don't do softball or baseball or anything for Marmaduke? Do you have anything to do with the spring sport programs at all?
Actually, I help with track. Coach Robinson, my assistant. I'm his assistant in track. And a lot of our kids, we encourage them to run track because I think it helps their mental toughness.
Yeah, well, not only that, but I mean, it would help their strength and their endurance as well. But,
yes, sir, I agree.
Okay, Coach, listen, I see my next guest coming in the door right now, and I know you've got someplace you've got to be, and that's very important, and we are going to be pulling for you at noon today over at Buffalo Island Central.
Hey, I appreciate it, and y'all do a great job, and I hope y'all do a good job and continue to spread out.
Yeah. I mean, we did some Marmaduke stuff this year. Unfortunately, it was only boys stuff. We want to get the girls on next year. If you guys would start playing on the same night, if you guys would start playing the boys and the girls on the same night and put the juniors somewhere else or something like that on Tuesdays and Fridays, that's where you need to be, okay?
That'd be great.
Work on that for us. Coach Smith, the head girls basketball coach at the Marmaduke of the Marmaduke Lady Greyhounds. That's who that was. We are going to take our bottom of the hour extended break, and when we come back in about 5 minutes or so, I am going to be talking to my final guest of the day, the Greene County Tech Lady Eagles head coach, Trey Harding. We got to use him for a half hour, so we're going to ask him all kinds of stuff right here on yourprimetimesports.com. Oh, yeah, thanks for sticking with us during our extended bottom of the hour break. We've got a half hour left in the show this morning from Batten's Donuts and Bakery right here on yourprimetimesports.com, and we are sitting with our final guest of the day, the head girls basketball coach, the Greene County Tech Lady Eagles, Trey Harding. Thanks for coming in again.
Well, I appreciate it. It's been fun coming on this year.
You guys have become a fixture. You and Scott have become a fixture of the show, and we appreciate you every week coming in.
Well, it's good Saturday morning breakfast. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't beat it right here at Batten's on a Saturday morning. And everybody you know comes in at one time or another during the course of the morning. We see all kinds of folks from here in Paragould that we know ambling through here on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, you'll see them all. So.
You guys got a big week coming up. Well, first of all, let's talk about the week you just got done, and it's been a tough week. You've been injury plagued. I mean, 3 starters didn't even suit up Tuesday night at Batesville, and the results of that. Well, I don't know if it was a direct result of that or not, but the results of that game was the cellar-dwelling Batesville Lady Pioneers reaching up and grabbing a victory against our Greene County Tech Lady Eagles Tuesday night with 3 starters out. Well, I'll just ask you straight out. Do you think the fact that Allie Wilson and Lexi Gramling and Olivia Pritchard being on the bench for that game had an effect on the outcome?
Well, I mean, anytime you take starters out of a game, it's going to play different, and it was just a combination of a few seniors playing with some underclassmen that they really hadn't played playing time minutes with, and we did not shoot the ball well, and I think just a mixture of different kids on the court. It's human nature to, when you're a senior and you've played with the same 5 seniors your whole life, and they're not out there, to have some confidence issues. And I think our underclassmen played hard, but that was really their first big game where it was on the line for them, and it was just an all-around, night you don't want to repeat again. I mean, I think it was a great experience, and it woke us up, and that was actually, Friday night.
That was Friday night.
And
we didn't get a chance to talk to you the following day because you guys had a practice Saturday morning to try and iron out some of the kinks from the night before.
Yeah, and it just, the girls were upset over it. I was, of course, upset, and we just wanted to get in the gym. That's my nature. I would have sat there and dwelled on it all Saturday. So we got in as early as we could, and had a really good practice, and left I think we practiced for about 3.5 hours, and left that practice and felt better about ourselves. We knew that game was behind us now, and we got some things fixed, and we put it behind and started preparing for the next week. And
well, now 2 of the 3 that were out came back the next game. Olivia Pritchard, Allie Wilson. Did they practice that Saturday morning at all? Were they able to get any work in?
Allie did some light shooting, and Olivia did a few drills, but overall full practice, no. When we looked at it as they set out Friday night, there was no reason to bring them in Saturday morning and take a chance, that early. But they came in again Sunday and shot a little bit more, and we turned them loose Monday, and they looked good Monday. So that was our whole original plan, to sit them out for 5 days. And Johnny, our trainer, has done a great job on treatment. I know he's had to earn his money lately. So
y'all have been plagued. Well, you got 2 of those girls back for the game at Blytheville, our last broadcast of the season. You guys ended up almost mercy ruling the Blytheville Lady Chicks, and obviously those 2 girls being back helped tremendously in that game. How did they feel being back? They played 2 since then. They played that one, and they played Wynn Thursday night. How are they feeling? What are their injuries, and how are they feeling?
I think Olivia, she is, I would say 100%, maybe not 100%, but 95%. She's real close. And
what was her injury?
She had an oblique abdominal muscle torn.
Okay.
And she's moving around. Allie Wilson, she's had the cracked rib, and she's getting there. I think conditioning-wise, she's there. She's had to wear some extra pads around her ribs, and when you're a shooter, that's a little bit different to get used to.
It affects the extension of your shot.
And she's, I think the way she feels is great, but we've got that extra protection there because it's not 100% healed, and she's taken a little while to get used to it, but she shot the ball well in practice. I just think maybe with the game uniform and that kind of deal. And Friday night, I know she was disappointed the way she shot, but she finally hit that one at the end, and I just told her, I said, hey, you're a shooter. You've been a shooter all year. She's hit a 3 in all 28 games, and just takes a little bit while getting used to it. And we kept letting her shoot it because we knew we were going to need her.
Eventually she was going to find it,
We're going to need her in the state tournament, so there's no reason to wait to the state tournament to get used to something. So
out for the last 3 games now has been Lexi Gramling. First, tell me what her injury is, and then let's talk about her prognosis.
Well, we know for sure that she retore ACL.
Retore it. Yeah, same one.
Same knee.
Oh, boy.
She's had an MRI. I'm not sure exactly what extent, that might be. Meniscus is a hard thing to tell on an MRI. Usually when the doctor's going for the ACL surgery, they can see the meniscus real good then. So we're not sure on that. She's out. She's finished.
She's done.
And
wow.
We're using that as a little bit of motivation right now. I know I was upset last week, and one of the girls said, Coach, what's wrong? That kind of deal. And that's one thing in life that, it's in everything, but a kid like that it's worked at it so hard, it really gets to me when I see it stripped from them their senior year. And, she's been torn up about it, but she's a mature kid, and she's come in now, and I think a lot of her after the Blyville and Wynn game. She sat on the bench and cheered them on and been a leader in practice.
Almost an assistant coach for you now.
She is, and if anybody knows what I'm trying to do, it's her. Being that point guard, and we're going to use her. And I told her, I said, hey, we take out a point guard during the game, and you see something that they can help, slide on down there, and use your experience and that kind of deal. And she's heartbroken about it, but she stepped up, and she's still going to give us 110% of what she's got left, and she's a winner, and I hate it for her. I hate it for the team, but that's part of sports, I guess.
Well, you guys have got the task coming up this coming week. After finishing pretty strong, the last 2 games you won both of those. Now you are hosting the state championship tournament. You've got Watson Chapel in the first round. They're the number 2 out of the Southeast. You've got a common opponent with Watson Chapel. Nettleton has played against them this year, and Nettleton beat them. So you've got a little bit of a look at them simply by Nettleton having played them. Plus, you've got game film on them and stuff like that. What do you guys? I mean, do you approach a state championship tournament game differently than you do a regular season game? I mean, do you prepare for it differently, mentally, physically?
As far as the kids aspect, I try to keep it as normal as possible in them. I don't want them,
Well, I mean, you guys are hosting
the
thing, so I mean, normalcy,
that's
it's a lofty goal in this point.
Yeah, that's the home court advantage, and that's what I got to get these kids to understand. When you're at home, you being in your own bed, you being on your normal routine, and keeping everything as normal as possible is what I think's good for the girls. I've got a ton of film on them. We traveled all the way to Hot Springs yesterday just to find some, and
you drove 4 hours to Hot Springs just to get tape on Watson Chapel.
Drove 4 hours,
and I know it's 4 hours because I was born and raised in Hot Springs. It's my home, and I make that drive at least once a month, so I know how far you got to go. And you did that just to go get videotape.
Well, and we made a few other stops on the way to get more, so I've got somewhere around 12 to 15 different films on different opponents, and the girls have put in all this hard work going into the state tournament, and I think my role as a coach to do everything I can possibly do to get them in the best situation. And that's kind of been our motto this year. You don't deserve to win unless you outwork your opponent. And Coach Wright and I have already started game planning and watching film and got notes, and we're going to keep. The main thing is our kids, I think they'll come out ready to play, and we want to just, give them a little heads up of what you're going to see, and any extra, little tips they can get is going to help them. But I think keeping it as normal as possible for them is the way to go. And
well, it's normal in that it's a home, they're home games for you. But at the same time, I mean, you're hosting a state tournament. Does the excitement of being the host team, do you think that has a positive effect, or maybe does it have some negative effects in that excitement level is so great, is so high, it may be overwhelming?
I think it'll be exciting, but I think the confidence level is huge in girls basketball, and they're going to come into a gym knowing that they shoot the ball well in that gym, and it's in front of their home crowd. We'll be in our locker room, and it's definitely got to be an advantage to ours. But on the flip side is, you got to look at it as, hey, we got a home court advantage. We've also been beat on that court. So Watson Chapel is defending state champs, and they lost a few players off that team, but they've also got a bunch of players off their team that's been there, done that. So they're going to come in with confidence too. And when you get this far, everybody's 0-0, and Alma's a good example of that last year. They get in on a coin flip, and next thing you know, they're playing in Hot Springs.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's that, and I think they beat Paragould on the way to that too. And Paragould was amazing last year.
Yeah.
Well, I'll ask you the same question I asked Coach Bowlin. Looking at the bracket of the state tournament. I know you've looked at it. You guys top half of the bracket. When you look at who is in the top half of the bracket and who is in the bottom half of the bracket, are you pleased with which end of the bracket you ended up with, or are you wishing, man, maybe that other side of the bracket they may have an easier road on that side? How does it look to you?
I look at this bracket that I'm looking at right now, and it's all the way across. I mean, it's tough. I know Little Rock, Central Arkansas Christian, who if we were to advance, we could wind up seeing, which they've got to play a very good Huntsville team.
Right.
And those two teams are on our side, and then you got Greenwood right below us playing a Little Rock Christian, and then BB playing a Whitehall. So you put CAC, Greenwood, BB on the same side as you. Those are tough opponents. And then on the bottom side, you got a Paragould, who's we got beat by Bologna in the CAC tournament, and they're their 2 seed, and Monticello is undefeated in their league. And not real sure about Siloam Springs. Now, we did play Camden Fairview earlier this year, and we're able to beat them. And Hot Springs Lakeside, BB beat them. But when you get this far, if you play one of the best teams in the second round, you got to approach it. If you're going to win this whole thing, you got to beat the best somewhere. So, we're on our home court. A lot of people say, well, you got Greenwood and CAC on your side. I'd rather play them on your home court than play them on a neutral court.
Yeah,
so, sure. But we got to get by the first round. So we can't looking at the second round and not getting there is not going to do any good. But we've got film to prepare for them, and I'll start preparing for the second round. And, as it gets that time, we want to be prepared. But on the flip side, I don't want the girls even considering what's in that second round.
Well, the one thing that happened in this bracket, the way is laid out, and everybody wanted this to happen, and it happened that way. You guys are on opposite sides of the bracket of the Paragould Lady Rams. So I know you don't want to look ahead, but everybody and their brother wants to see you guys play Paragould for the championship. If you can get that far, that would be, and that's happened before in history. I found that out over the past couple of weeks. Paragould and Tech have played each other for a state championship at least twice before now.
I know, back-to-back they did.
Yeah. Talk about, I know you're not going to talk about that, but I'm going to try and get you to anyway. If you could get to Hot Springs, and if it could be Paragould, how big would that be?
That's, if we get there, I don't care who we play. But if we got there and we played Paragould, it would be great for the community. But that's so far away.
That's 4 games away. You got to win 4 games to get that far, and so do they.
If anybody in Greenwood or Central Arkansas or Watson Chapel's listening to this, that might be great locker room material for them. So I better get quiet on that subject.
We're going to take a break. We're going to take about a 3-minute break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about life after basketball for you, for your seniors that are going to be graduating this year, for the players you got coming up. All that is going to be when we return here on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
Your favorite teams play on YourPrimetimeSports.com.
Welcome back to YourPrimetimeSports.com. Final segment of the day. We're going to be getting done right at 10 o'clock. And I'm joined by Trey Harding, head girls basketball coach, Greene County Tech Lady Eagles. We've talked about this morning the past week's worth of games that the Lady Eagles have had to play. We've talked about their injuries. We've talked about the state tournament coming up. 4 games and you're a state champion. That's the way it goes, and that's what you got in front of you.
That's what you got to look at. We told our girls, hey, the past season's over. It's a new season. You're 0-0, and you play as long as you want to.
All you got to do is go 4-0. 4-0 for the next actually 2 weeks, because you got to go 3-0 this week, and then wait a week and play one more game. That's what you got to do. 4-0 in 2 weeks. Can you do it?
We can do it.
Yeah.
But right now we'll take 1-0.
1-0. First round game, against Watson Chapel, Wednesday, 4 o'clock, right here in Paragould at what they're calling now, it's been nicknamed the Palace, the Greene County Tech new arena over there. And I guess you guys have played in that about a month or so now. How are you digging it? How you like that place?
Oh, it's super nice, and I mean it's a facility that some small colleges don't get to play in.
Sure.
And we've got, that's what I tell our girls, just for you to get to play in this. I mean, there's girl basketball player, boy basketball players all over the country that don't get to play in a facility this nice. And the gym, the hallways, the classrooms, the auditorium, the whole thing has been done right, and it's just nice to go to work every day to see that. We're very fortunate to have what we have.
And lucky enough to host the state playoffs, so you get to keep going to work in it for another week rather than getting on a bus and going who knows where for how many hours and playing on foreign soil.
That's a key. We've girls getting to stay in their own bed and have moms make them their own breakfast if they normally do, and go to class and prepare the same way we prepared all year. And as a coach, anytime you can play and not have to worry about staying in hotels, I'll sleep better in my own bed than worrying about hotels of kids not getting their sleep or something else going wrong. And it's nice on that fact. Coach Cunningham has done a great job letting us just coach. He's put a lot of the work on himself for the state tournament, him and Kathy Faulkner, secretary. So Coach Bowlin and I have been fortunate there, where usually, you host state tournament as a coach, it's hard to sometimes coach and get ready for the state tournament. But they've told us up front, they said, y'all just coach and do your job, and that's been really nice.
That's something that you don't get it. Like when you were at Valley View or any of the other schools you've been at, you're pretty much when you're hosting an event like that, you're doing the work, you're doing the lion's share. Yeah,
and it's the bigger the school, the more people you're going to have that's able to help at that. And like I said, it's been great. I've went to them a couple of times thinking, God, I hadn't heard too much about the state tournament. Hey, is there anything we need to do? They said, y'all just coach.
Wow.
Just coach your teams, and I couldn't ask for anything better than that. Have it at your own place and just get a coach and not have to worry about working too much.
That is a blessing right there. Let's talk about, sooner or later this ride's going to end. Basketball season will be over. You've got six seniors that are done after whatever last game and whenever that may be. They're done after that. One of those seniors actually already, for the most part, playing-wise, is done. Do any of those girls, do they play spring sports at all?
I know Olivia has been a big runner. I'm not exactly sure what her plans are as far as that. But that senior class has been a basketball group.
Yeah.
Now, I have a bunch of underclassmen that play softball and track. But that group is actually just a basketball group because in the past they've done AAU basketball.
Sure.
And
they're actually still eligible for AAU even after their senior season. They get one more year of AAU if they want.
Yeah, if you can still play after your senior year. I think all six of them are very intelligent and have a great future ahead of them in whatever they pursue. And they're already preparing for college and that kind of deal. And
so all six of them going on to college?
All six of them are going to college.
Are any of them being looked at? I don't know the answer to this. Is any of them being looked at to play basketball on the next level?
We've had a bunch of colleges contact about quite a few of them. And I think right now Allie Wilson has shown some interest. I think the other ones just want to go to college and be a student and look on to what their future plans will be. Allie's undecided, but there's definitely some NIA schools, a few JUCOs and Division II schools that she could play at if she wanted to. But it's when you get into the small college ball, you sometimes got to make up your mind. You want to put some things behind you and go travel. And
well, I will tell you this. Tuesday, 2 weeks ago, I guess, the Paragould game. You guys had the Paragould game at home, and we were not broadcasting that night, so I actually got to go and watch the game. I stood down on the floor and watched the girls' game, And when I left, I was leaving at the same time as Coach Scott Boyer from Arkansas State University. Scott. It is
Brian,
Scott, right?
Brian Boyer.
Brian Boyer. Did I say Scott? Why did I say Scott? Anyway, Brian Boyer, the head coach of Arkansas State University, was at the game and we actually ended up going and eating at the same place. Wasn't planned that way. We went to Don Jose Mexican restaurant where I do my other gig 4 nights a week. And he walks in after we did, me and my wife and Drew. So I got to talk to him. I said, "Who are you?" He said, "Well, I was there to watch both these teams because they both got some excellent players that I wouldn't mind having."
Yeah.
In not so many words. He did say, I'm paraphrasing what he said. So your girls have gotten the attention of our nearest Division I college program.
They have, and Coach Boyer does a great job keeping in touch with the local coaches. And I've had the luxury of working in Jonesboro with him for 5 years at Valley View, and they used our practice facility. So I've got to know Coach Boyer real well, and I'm sure he was up there to watch a great game, see some local talent, and
well, that night especially, he saw. You and Paragould fight down to the wire that night, and both teams played exceptionally well. Greene County Tech so much so that they left a player. One of the players' career ended right there on that floor that night. I mean, they were playing that hard, both teams. When you give it that much, Coach, you can't ask for a squad to give you any more than what they gave you that night against Paragould.
They did, and it was both games this year have been a battle right down to the end, and could have went either way, and we just unfortunate for us, they just played a little better, and it was physical, and that was one of the games where you leave after the game, and I think after the locker room, you tell the girls, hey, I'm proud of you. We could have played this same effort and played them again and would have went our way, But that's kind of you hit the nail on the head there with the Grambling girl, and that's I look at a lot of things saying why this kid or why that kid, and about the only thing I can come up with on Lexia, she just gives it 110% all the time.
She left every bit of it literally on the floor against Paragould that night, and this is the first opportunity we've actually had to talk to you since that game because. Again, you played Batesville the next game, and we didn't have an opportunity to have you on Saturday. So this is our first conversation about the Paragould game since the last time we talked to you. She literally left it all out on the floor that night. She did, and she's that's this summer when she heard it in a team camp game, and it's because she's going to the basket, all out, and she's just that type of kid where she's going to do something, she's going to do it to the best of her ability. And I hate it for her, but she'll overcome it. I think she already shocked a bunch of people. Everybody thought, this summer, said, "Oh, I can't believe you lost Lexi your senior year." And she said right there, "I'll be back before conference." And
well,
she was back before the season.
She was right when we started. She was back, and less than right at 4 months, and that's amazing. Doctors did a great work or some great job with her, but. It's one of them deals where a lot of people have questioned brace or coming back. I mean, she was at 7 months when she rehurt it, and they say your 10% is what you have to rehurt a knee that you already done, and she was more likely to hurt the other one, and it just the way she planted, and all her weight was on that leg, and she was kind of going to the basket, and as physical as that game is, it just that's. It's planted the wrong way, and it just happened. But like we said, it's because of how hard she goes. And
well,
she's had a great career. She's had enough.
And she's going to be right there with you to the very end of when and wherever that ends in the state tournament, of course. What do you do after basketball season's over? Do you have anything to do with any of the spring sports at all?
Well, I've coming to Greene County Tech, that was a big advantage when I was looking into the job. It was one sport, and in the past I've always done 2 to 3 sports, and I've just got basketball here, and we're going to take some time off from basketball, a couple of weeks, to let the girls have a break. And the ones that I will have that don't go to softball and track and soccer, we'll get them started in the weight room and start some fundamentals. And I think me and my wife are going to go on a cruise spring break.
Cruise?
So,
where are you going to go?
We're going to go to Cozumel and Progresso. Never been on a cruise, so this will be the first for both of us. And
I've never been on a cruise. Can I go?
Come on.
My wife might get mad if I go on a cruise with you guys and don't take her. She might get upset with that. Okay, listen. Thanks again. I think we might be doing a show next Saturday to talk about what happened in the state tournament. So I hope that when you come back next Saturday, it'll be talking about playing in the semifinals that night.
That would be a great deal.
I hope we get to have that conversation Saturday. Thanks again.
Thank you, and Coach, I appreciate all you have done this year.
Thank you. Coach Trey Harding, the head girls coach of the Greene County Tech Lady Eagles. We're going to take our final break of the day, come back and wrap up right here on yourprimetimesports.com.
Your favorite teams play on yourprimetimesports.com.
Welcome back to yourprimetimesports.com. We are done for the day. I want to briefly go over what we've got on the agenda for the coming weeks. Of course, we're going to be back here Saturday morning to talk about what has happened in the state playoffs throughout this coming week. And then baseball season is going to start for us very, very soon on yourprimetimesports.com. Our first baseball broadcast of the season is going to be March the 6th, and that will be Greene County Tech at Marion. That's March the 6th. Our game broadcasts are going to be primarily on Tuesdays, with the exception of spring break. Clifton is going to make the trip with the Greene County Tech baseball team to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and he is going to broadcast all the varsity games that they play down there live on yourprimetimesports.com. I won't be making the trip with him. I'll be back here holding down the fort and producing for him and making sure everything runs smoothly. But he'll be there on site at Cal Ripken Experience to bring you those Greene County Tech ball games. So we've got Tech playing Marion, the first game. We've got Paragould playing Batesville the following week. Then the South Carolina trip. And then after that, the big one, Tech versus Paragould in baseball on Tuesday, April 3rd. If you want to see our game broadcast schedule, we don't have the Myrtle Beach games on there yet, but if you want to see the schedule of the games that we're going to be broadcasting in baseball season, simply go to yourprimetimesports.com and click on events in our menu, and it will take you directly to our broadcast schedule. All right, that's what we've got coming up. We're going to be at the state tournament this week, even though we won't be broadcasting, so that we can relay to you what's going on via Facebook or whatever other ways we have. We'll maybe put some photographs of the state tournament action for Tech and Paragould on our website. So be looking this week for updates from us from the state tournament at Greene County Tech. That's going to do it for me. Clifton Garmrath was here earlier. For him and myself, Dave Grimm, I'll say so long. We'll see you next Saturday here on yourprimetimesports.com.